Is your brain ready? Ready for the ride of a lifetime.
Move it!
Buckle up for an audio journey of epic proportions.
It's going to be an exciting adventure.
A journey so out of mind that it borders on the insane.
The next word that comes out of your mouth better be some brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit. Because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9. Cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie. We play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise.
All right. Week two of the NFL season and of our version of a live stream watch. Pretty much how it's going, I guess. Because I didn't even upload last week's into the podcast because I forgot to hit record on Reaper last week. So if you want to watch it, it is on YouTube. And it does sound good. We sound good. But we did not pick as well in our games as I thought we would have. But you did win. You did beat me.
I'll take week one.
What was it? 8-6 against 7-7?
Yeah.
And we didn't even pick against the spread, so I'd be a shitty gambler. Which, by the way, is wrong. Didn't you say October 12th?
October 15th.
Okay. See. I looked it up, and you're right. It's the 15th.
October 15th, you can start legally losing money.
And I'm on board. Nicole did not like that I said that, but she said because I don't know enough about it. And I said, well, I didn't know anything about stock market either, but you let us throw some money in there. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And the people who have watched, you see there's a Chicago Bears flag over there now, so that's gorgeous. The Amazon just... You can see how they have enough money to build their own space program because there's nothing that's not on Amazon. I love it.
Oh, yeah, you can buy like a bunch of bananas, a football, a stapler, and some medicine. And just Amazon's like, yeah, that'll be there tomorrow.
So I ordered both of us a flag, and they're from the same company, and yours comes tomorrow. Mine came today. I don't know if it's...
Steelers probably higher demand.
So shouldn't they carry? They should have more on hand. Let's see. So we watched our games. Your Steelers won, and that was essentially the difference in our. Because I took the Bills. Didn't you take the Bills? Wait.
No.
Right.
That was my upset of the week last week. Was the Steelers. So I'm 1 for 1 on my upset. So I'm gonna hopefully get a bold call this week, pull it out again.
Have you ever had this liquid death?
Yeah, at your house.
That's
what I
right.
had it.
Yeah.
Remember we did the blind taste test with
That's
5 different waters.
It
And it did win, and tap water was last. So
that's correct. Now this game, it's Thursday night, so the game's just getting underway. This is a true all-star game here. The Washington football team, the New York Giants. Over under, and this one is what? It's Washington is minus 3.5. In Washington, which is essentially 3 points is the home, the standard points. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. It's the football team for me. I understand Fitzy's down, but I think the defense is gonna be way too much for Daniel Jones and the gang. Daniel Jones actually last week targeted 16 different players on his 37 attempts, showing that they have no one he trusts in particular.
And so Saquon's on my fantasy team, but I don't see him doing any better this week really than he did last week because the front seven in Washington is...
And I don't know if he's truly healthy. I think he might be decoy mode right now because he only got 10 carries last week, and Booker had some work, so I didn't know if he was just a decoy. Oh, I was almost a pick.
Man, that was I'm with you. I'm Washington. It's 3.5. I think they're gonna win by a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, I think it could get ugly.
Let's see. So we both. I want to write this down because I had to listen to the podcast last week. Let's see. M and Z. And we both took Washington. Man, I like Heineke. I didn't realize he's been in the league, like, this is his 7th season, I think.
Yeah.
But he's not done anything his whole career.
Nope.
A career bencher. And now, since it's a 1 o'clock game, we're going to talk about my Bears versus the Bengals. First, over under, how many snaps do you think Justin Fields takes behind center, under center?
7.
So you take,
And I would guess like 5 of those are in the red zone.
all right, I'm going to say 10. I guess it's more of a hoping thing. Just because.
Now ask me how many he should take.
How many should he take?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Matt Nagy is just trying to extend his career as a coach by 1 more season. He knows that if he doesn't play Fields, it's like his ace up his sleeve, that he can come back and be like, well, I drafted my guy. I eased him in. He was on the coaching staff when Mahomes was sitting behind Alex Smith. And that's his like trump card. Is he's like, remember how Mahomes turned out? That's what I envisioned for Fields. Let me go next year. And he's just because they'd be better with Fields now.
If that's the case, like, he can say it's as Mahomes' case and Alex Smith case, but he already put him in the red zone and scored a rushing touchdown and had a laser of a 9-yard pass.
Like I said, I think he's gonna keep using him as a red zone weapon to appease the people of Chicago, and because he's better, he's gonna try to win games, but he's not gonna hand over the reins, barring Dalton being absolutely terrible.
He wasn't
good.
He wasn't good.
No.
Although I did see, you follow Bears Twitter. It really looks like a lot of it was failed execution by the people. Like, Matt Nagy wasn't the problem. It seemed like a lot of it was execution by throws from Dalton. A beautiful reverse play call, a reverse handoff to Marquise Goodwin, who had a beautiful lane to rush it 25 yards, just wide open, and he tried to cut it outside and 2-yard loss. A lot of plays.
Montgomery showed out.
Cool.
He looked like the best player on the Bears. And he's not, but he looked like it.
He might be second best, though. He might.
Behind Khalil?
Is Khalil the best?
Yes.
History says yes, but he didn't touch the quarterback last week.
It's true.
Bojack disappeared. Like, it was an embarrassing game to watch as a Bears fan. To watch Stafford throw that bomb and no one decides to touch.
So then you think the best is A-Rob?
Overall, probably until Fields takes over. Because of his athleticism, Justin Fields will be the best player on the field. He'll be the fastest player on the field who can throw the ball 65 yards.
Definitely the most important player on the field.
Yeah, the number 1 position. So we both took Washington on this one. I don't see Barkley having a huge season. I don't think he's going to hit his stride until like week 7 or 8. So I think the Giants are going to suck, and I think they're going to regret that they traded with the Bears to draft Fields, because I don't think Danny Drops is in.
No, I'm not a believer in Danny Dimes myself either.
So do you take the Bengals or the Bears? I'm taking the Bears because I think they're at home. I think the crowd's going to be enough to help, and I hope they can execute.
Yeah, and then it spreads what, 3.5 in favor of the Bears?
2.5.
2.5. I'll take the Bears. I think that their defense, even though they ranked so poorly last week, I just think that Cincinnati's a different animal than the Rams.
And who knows, the Rams could be.
I think they're going to be good.
They could win the West, and that's a tough division. The Seahawks look fucking good, though.
Because like we talked about, we think that Fields should be starting over Dalton because quarterbacks are important, even if they're only marginally better. And Stafford's better than Goff And I don't know how you quantify that when they have the weapons they do and the defense they do.
Stafford's better, and that's not close.
Well, he could throw it downfield.
He was Mahomes before Mahomes with his weird ass angles of throwing, his badass comebacks. Every couple weeks, it looks like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook is posting the early in Stafford's career when he separated his shoulder and he's like, "Oh, I can still throw," and he goes and leads a comeback and throws a touchdown. It's like he's just been that guy for so long for such a shitty team. I think they're doomed. I think the Lions might truly be cursed, like the Cubs curse, because they have elite players, some of the greatest of all time, between Barry Sanders and Megatron, and they garbage.
They both wanted to leave and then retired instead of playing there anymore.
Can you imagine that? Two of the greatest players in NFL history.
And in my opinion, I mean,
wow.
I would say I think Barry Sanders is the best running back ever right now, at least up there. And then Calvin Johnson's arguably the best receiver ever. And to have those two talents not win games and those two guys decide to just call it quits because they can't play there anymore is got to be awful.
It's impressive. It's impressively bad.
Yeah, but I'll give them they stick to their kahunas and they're like, just retire then. They could have got a haul for both those guys.
For both. And Megatron has said he's willing to squash the beef for apparently $1.6 million. I wonder who he owes money to that like it's such a number. For $1.6 million.
Yeah, it's really precise.
We're okay.
Look at the Giants just march right down the field after I picked against them and said there's no way their offense is going to move the ball.
I got Shepard. I've benched him. He killed it last week, and I just kept him on the bench. But I'm worried about the Bears' offensive line. They don't have another tackle left. They signed him to the practice squad today. It's not going good. It's not going good, guys. Next game. Pats at Jets. The Patriots are 6-point favorites. I'll go first on this one. This is a suck bowl to me. I didn't like Mac Jones when he played in college. Between him and Tua, didn't like either one of them watching Alabama. Zach Wilson, I think, is one of the most overhyped, gonna blow it quarterbacks. I don't think he has it. I don't know if it's the Mormon BYU shit that just like turns me off tremendously. I know, oh, he's got a live arm. Yeah, he went to the Mormon school. I don't get it. Even with the spread in New York, I'm taking the Patriots because the Jets are bound to suck.
Yeah, I'll take the Pats as well. I think Mac looked pretty good last week, and they hung with the Dolphins, who I think are much better than the Jets. I don't believe in the Jets right now. Their offensive line is a mess.
Do they even have any playmakers for?
They have Corey Davis, who looked really good in week 1.
Why did they let Robbie Anderson go? Because he wanted an extension, a raise?
I believe he was traded at one point.
Why would he is a playmaker?
Because screw Sam Darnold, I
Fuck
guess. That's why.
Fuck everybody else.
Just Adam Gase. Don't try to make sense of what Adam Gase did while he was there.
He's got. I think Gase has that same mentality that it seems like Josh McDaniels has. Like, I'm the smartest in the room, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to put. If people blame it on this player, I'm going to say, see ya.
McDaniels, I mean, he at least backs it up. Adam Gase, he was a Dolphins coach, if you remember, for a while. Tannehill looked useless, terrible. Now Tannehill, statistically, the last 11 games has basically been like Mahomes.
He has the highest rated quarterback over the last 2 seasons or something.
Yeah, and then now Sam Darnold, I mean, didn't look great, but he's 1-0 without Adam Gase.
1-0.
He got his win.
How many he played for? He played for what, 3 seasons with.
He couldn't
or 4.
Couldn't have won very many games in the Jets.
I don't think he won 12.
Yeah.
Boy, Chase Young is a monster. Oh, that's not fair. See, it's an unfair penalty.
Well, the worst part is trying to not do that.
But when you're such a freak athletically, like it's held against you when you play well. Oh, let's see. So right now we're the same. We're both on the first 3 picks.
Well, no one's picked an upset yet either. We're going pretty much by the book so far.
Broncos at Jags. 6-point favorite for Denver.
6. Oof. But also Denver for me. I think that Lawrence is going to have a year where he throws like 30 touchdowns and like 18 picks, 20 picks.
He's going to have a Jameis Winston season now.
He's going to chuck it. I think that Urban Meyer is like knows they're not going to win, and he's like, all right, let's just teach Lawrence how to throw in the NFL on the fly. Just throw it.
Danny drops, rushing it. They get it? They didn't call it. No call in the field. 5 seconds. They haven't 6 seconds.
They say touchdown.
My upset of the week. We're going Jags. Wait. Who was it? Bridgewater that we talked about last week that is just underrated? It is. So never mind. Not Jags. I'm going Denver. I always mix up some of the black quarterbacks. It's between Bridgewater, Jameis, who's
Tyrod.
Tyrod. I mix up Tyrod and Bridgewater a lot.
Yeah, they're both probably about league average players.
Right, and I don't know. It's because they're both lanky, skinny guys. It just throws me off. I'm gonna roll Denver because I like Bridgewater. I thought he was the season he tore his ACL with the Vikings. I thought he was gonna be it, and I was like, this guy's fucking.
And how bad is Jacksonville's defense? They got rolled by Houston, who I don't think is a functioning NFL team. So we'll see if they are or not this week.
Yeah, the triple A Texans. Okay, next, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins. 3.5-point favorite for Buffalo.
And again, I'm going to go with the favorite again, Buffalo. I think coming off that loss, they're going to be pushing hard. I mean, not that you don't try every time, but there's just no way that they're going to go. I just don't see Buffalo going 0-2.
No, I see Buffalo. This is like a true redemption game. I think they're going to be trying to.
And I think that Miami's defense, while it's good, I don't think it's the Steelers' defense. And I think that the Steelers' defense really messed things up for Buffalo in that game. Like, Josh Allen didn't. People are already saying that, Josh Allen maybe isn't as good as he was last year. I'm like, he's played one game against a really good defense. Like,
who just plays smart, stay-at-home defense.
Yeah. Like, pump the brakes a little bit.
No one's saying. Well, I guess people are saying about Rodgers too. Saying he lost it. He didn't care about the game.
He didn't play all off season, and now they're saying that he just doesn't have it anymore.
He's the MVP.
People said Derrick Henry's washed now. Like, he had 2,000 yards. Has one game where the offensive line gives up, 6 sacks, 5 by one guy. He doesn't run the ball particularly well in a game where they're getting destroyed. And everyone's like, he's washed.
Speaking of, I heard Chandler Jones officially requested a trade.
What a time to do it.
I mean, he's peak. What? Taking a break. What isn't Snoop in? Guy's a marketing savant. He's a Twitch streamer playing video games, Corona commercials, like a Raider spokesperson, pop star, rap star, gang member.
He's had a couple game shows on TBS, I believe, and I didn't even know they did.
Oh, that's right, with Bert Kreischer. Who, he got to drink all the free liquid death he wanted, but you know what? I was in on way first. It's a sponsor I would love to have. I drink a lot of liquid death. Probably 6 or 7 12-packs a month. It adds up. That's sad. Okay. So we're aligned so far, every pick. Niners at Philadelphia. This could be our one that would differentiate this. You picked Buffalo first last time. I'll go. Niners are 3-point favorites. I'll take Philadelphia.
Yeah, all right. So that's your upset. I'm taking the Niners. I want Philadelphia to be good. I have Miles Sanders in every fantasy league this year. I have a lot of Jalen Hurts. But until they do it against a defense that's not the Falcons, it's going to be hard for me to trust. Falcons' pass defense is terrible.
The Falcons have not been a defense in eons.
Yeah. So that'll be one that'll be different for us. I'll take the Niners.
How quickly do you think Trey Lance plays? How many games?
Assuming he's truly healthy now. I mean, he did play a snap and threw a touchdown. It's hard. I mean, they won pretty easily. I know the Lions came storming back at the end, but the game wasn't particularly close until then. So it's hard to bench people when you're winning games. I'll say like week 6. Give him time to lose a game, or give him time to lose like 2 or 3 games, and then it'll be last time.
I don't think he starts till like week 12. Depends how. Yeah, I guess it really depends if they win. And I think they'll be winning, so I don't think they'll bench Jimmy because he doesn't look bad.
All right, split the difference and put it on the board. Week 9's a tie. Anything under week 9, I win.
Over under Trey Lance start.
Yeah, over under. We got it at 9. 9's a tie. And then you got over week 9. I got under week 9. Speaking of, an update on our first board bet, receiving yards this season, Deontay with a whopping 36 yards in week 1, but still up 1 on the 35 yards put up by Allen Robinson. So basically, we'll do the regular 16-game season and just decide. And you'll spot me the yard.
That's fucking garbage. I can't believe it. Boy, the Bears' offensive attack was bad. To have 3 players that run a sub 4.4 40 in their combine times, and to not throw but 1 pass over 15 yards. That's sad. It's just atrocious. All right, so I have a split there. Finally, we're not picking the same. Rams at Colts.
Rams. I'm not believing the Colts like you do. I was heavily on the Seahawks last week. I think the Rams might be better than the Seahawks. I mean, that offense looked ridiculous.
They look strong.
I just don't think the Colts secondary is equipped to handle that. I mean, they couldn't stop Russ. I don't think they're going to stop Stafford either.
We align on that one.
And Jalen Ramsey will shut down whoever the Rams decide is the number 1 wide receiver on the Colts right now.
Who do they have?
I mean, they have Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, and Paris Campbell.
Yeah, we have Pittman, Mr. 1 touchdown, like 14 catches or something last season.
So whoever the Rams decide to completely remove from the game will be gone.
And Carson was getting the shit kicked out of him last week. What, he got like 14 hits or something on him? He's going to start hearing footsteps. All right, this one's for you.
All right.
Raiders, the Steelers.
It's going to be hard for me to pick against the Steelers for a very long time after that. I mean, the defense looked unstoppable. Darren Waller had 19 targets on Monday night. I hope he has 19 targets on Sunday because Pittsburgh's going to remove him. So I hope they're throwing it in his direction because they don't have any other weapons that Pittsburgh's going to be overly concerned with.
Chucky said he's never seen a football player like Darren Waller. I'll take Oakland and fuck it, especially with the. So if we're going,
Oakland's not even a football team. It's the Las Vegas Raiders now.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. It's always gonna be the Oakland Raiders to me.
Yeah.
If it's especially against the spread, I'm taking the Raiders. It's 5.5. Derek Carr, he's gonna hit a top 10 He's Mr. between 10 and 20 for most of his career. I think he's due to crack the top 10 as far as efficiency, touchdown, yard. I just don't like John Gruden. I think he is the biggest problem. We'll find out.
It's going to be interesting. I think that it's going to be a nightmare for Derek Carr because their offensive line isn't very good this year. And Pittsburgh only blitzed Josh Allen on 3.7% of snaps last week. And he got consistent pressure. So I feel like we're going to be snapping at people in the backfield.
That low of a percentage? What is that, 3 plays?
2 plays.
2, yeah.
We blitzed on 2 snaps last week.
I think Josh Jacobs had a sore toe.
You just don't have to bring it when you got, Watt and Ingram and Highsmith and Hayward. You don't have to bring the house. Those guys get through just fine.
And there's, got Minka, someone up there who can just ball hawk wherever.
And Joe Hayden. I mean, this defense is good, and I've luckily got to enjoy a few different good Steelers defenses in my.
It does make me hate you a little bit.
The Bears had a good defense during my lifetime too.
Yeah, but we also had
Devin Hester
and the shittiest offense in NFL history for the greater part of my life.
But you went to the Super Bowl with the most fun special teamer of all time.
That's true.
He should be on the Hall of Fame.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
Is he? He's been
voted in this year.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that.
Yeah.
Look at me by the times. I know no special teamer had been elected in returner, and I was like, he needs to be. He was electric.
Now I'm questioning if that's true.
I remember my favorite quote I ever heard is it said, "You don't ask a woman if she's pregnant, you don't eat gas station sushi, and you never kick the ball to Devin Hester." And I was just like, yeah, that all makes sense.
I've never had gas station sushi, but what about Publix sushi?
Publix is fine. Publix is bougie, let's be honest. Not all of us can afford to shop at Publix for our groceries.
I do love Publix sushi, though. Some of it. All right, so there's 2 now that we disagree on. I'm either going to fall further behind.
I've also picked all favorites, so I'm going to get an upset in here at some point.
It's not going to be this one. Texans at Browns. Browns,
it's not going to be this
12.5 point favorites.
It's not going to be this one. It's the Browns. I don't think the Texans are a real team. I will be rooting for the Texans, obviously, as a Steelers fan.
How much does it suck for the Texans? Everyone's like, oh, they're going to go winless. First game, they beat the shit out of the Jags. And now they're double-digit underdogs. The NFL, you should never have a double-digit deficit.
I mean,
in the betting lines.
It's the equivalent of being the University of Kentucky and then being like, you can't win the SEC, and then you beat the crap out of Appalachian State Tech Poly Institute of Technology University for women. It's not gonna, it doesn't mean anything going into next week 2 against Bama.
That's fair. If we're only betting, we because we're not bettors right now, we're just picking who's gonna win. Against the line, I could almost say the Texans because, man,
because
Tyrod looked good.
12's big.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points for any game.
Of course, the Bears lost by 20.
Speaking of, I saw that the Chiefs are 1-10-1 against the spread in their last 12 games.
That's because they keep getting picked by it so much, right?
Yeah, that's remarkable, though. They're not a bad team that's just getting obliterated. People just want to bet on Mahomes, so the line becomes inflated. But then at the same time, if you said, they're favored by 10 against Baltimore, I wouldn't want to bet against Mahomes still, even though I know it's too much. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, they don't turn it on until the fourth quarter, until the game's I guess we're gonna play now.
And it's just scary.
Can you imagine how good to be that good of a team? Just all right, now we're gonna play. I guess even against Cleveland.
This is the worst. Who's down? I didn't even see.
It looks bad, full blown cart and stretcher.
I don't think I told you I was at the game in Cincy. That was Shazier's last game.
That who's?
Ryan Shazier.
Oh, the
I was there for the hit, and you could just hear the oxygen sucked out of the stadium, and it was awful.
Yeah.
It was just a horrible thing. And then I'm in the stadium, and I'm trying to get reception on my phone to see if he's alive. And
they're trying to pull up a stream or something.
yeah, and they're saying that they're pulling him to the hospital, and he was going to the ICU, and I was like, wow, that's not a normal football injury. I wasn't even worried about that dude playing football again. I just wanted him to be healthy. He's walking now impressively.
It's weird when you see him like years on down the line, like, oh, this guy's an elite athlete, like truly elite. And then you have to watch him walk like a newborn.
Yeah, he was one of the best linebackers in football, and then like couldn't walk. Like, so fundamental tackling is very, very important. He didn't do it on that play. He led with his helmet, and a lot of times it's the guy inflicting the hit that takes the brunt of it.
He took the brunt. So we're both on Cleveland. Next up, Saints at Panthers. Saints are 3-point favorites. I'm taking the Saints. Jimmy Wynn is going to be.
Give me an underdog here. Give me the Panthers. I'm gonna bet on McCaffrey again. I'm gonna bet on the fact that Jameis doesn't throw a touchdown every 2 throws or whatever it was week 1.
All right, the
A
Panthers.
little nervous about that one. I feel like that one's a little ballsy for me because they didn't destroy the Jets by any means, but
You're right. The Saints raped the Packers, and they squeaked by the Jets.
I'm just gonna go with there's enough offensive explosiveness on the Panthers to put them on top with McCaffrey, Anderson, and Moore. Compared to just Kamara on the other side, it's the only offensive player I feel comfortable with. The defense for the Saints is better, though. And that's why I think they're favorites. And they just shut down Rodgers, so.
Another group that didn't like to blitz. Oh, he's fine. He's sitting up. It's not even a neck. It's just the pussy didn't want to limp off the field.
He's not even paralyzed. What's wrong with him?
If you don't have a C collar on, you don't need to be on the cart.
No blood, no foul.
So hold on to someone's shoulders and get walked off like everybody else. Although
The bigger you are, the harder you fall.
it must be something important though, just because like he's already soft casted and
leg
everything.
is
So
super
like
casted.
he probably broke something.
Oh, he plays where the big people play, so.
Man, he's already fucking smiling. He ain't break nothing.
Smiling a lot. Did they drug him up on the field?
He made a good shot.
Did they call up Will Fuller and say, "Come on, you're fast, get here"?
Get here.
He's playing week 2, by the way.
Oh.
Ooh, Saquon looking live.
Chase
Looking
Young.
real
Look at
live.
Chase Young.
Yeah, he's chasing him.
Keeping up with Saquon Barkley.
Wow, Saquon looked good on that play. Maybe Decoy is not where he's at anymore. Maybe that extra week between week 1 and week 2 was enough to get him going. It's a good hole, but the speed was there.
I think he just ran at 55 yards. I still can't believe how fast Chase Young is.
I just spoke to my dad in our fantasy league and was telling him that I might bench Saquon because I was worried about his health. I'm looking to make sure he did not do that.
4 rushes, 46 yards. So
He did play him. Good. He did play him. I would have felt bad if he went off for like 25 and I'd convinced him to bench him, but I didn't think it was a call after looking at who he had on his bench.
Oh, that's Shepard? Oh. You know, when they get hit like that, there's so many wide receivers don't even wear.
Look, what in the world is a CJ Board? That is the Giants right now.
They don't even wear thigh pads usually, so it's just like that. What? Oh, it hurts seeing it when you not wear thigh pads and they get hit in the thigh. Falcons at Bucks. Bucks 12.5 point favorites. Yeah.
By all the points. I think that Tom Brady sees last week as a loss. I feel like he's a creepy guy who has like his own little bulletin board and his regular season wins is against the spread. It's not even like I think he like posts it and he's like, Vegas only thinks we could beat these guys by 6.5. Isn't that embarrassing?
Fuck these guys.
We should have to win by 18. They think we can only beat them by 6.5. Vegas is doubting us. I think that's how Brady pitches it because the Patriots and the Bucks both, Tom Brady in general, have always been tremendous against the spread. And I feel like he takes it as an insult. He's like, wow, the Jets are terrible. We can only win by 20, and then they go win 42-0.
I have to go to the bathroom. Off to a break real quick. Took a little bit longer than I was anticipating. That's on me, though. So, I got to fix here. Because I want to put a window on here. Because did you see... do you watch a Good Morning Football or anything?
have not in a while.
So I'd like to watch it. I just never get to because I'm working. But that one. I'm a big fan because it seems like everyone's a fucking Bears fan. Never mind, it's not even going to show up. It's about Zoom. That'll work. Maybe. There it is. After we do the picks, that's all. But I forgot to set up that window before. Okay. So the next play after the injury, got a big 6-yard loss by the Chase Young being a monster and just getting in. Next pick. Vikings at Cardinals. Cardinals 3.5-point favorites. I think the Vikings are teetering on the edge of like a collapse of their team because they've been borderline so long with so much great talent, but like they let Stephon Diggs go. Thielen, although a great route runner, you can only have so much. Jefferson's gonna be amazing, but I don't think the team has much faith in Kirk Cousins. Kellen Mond's a big piece to work on. Harrison Smith, an all-pro wide receiver for fucking years and years. He's getting old now. Dalvin Cook tears an ACL every year, it seems. I think this is the year that the Vikings kind of snap and they go 6-11. I'm taking the Cardinals at 3.5-point favorites, and
I'm also going to take the Cardinals.
Did you watch some sort of betting show and just said, hey, pick all the favorites?
No. I do have my upset of the week coming up shortly, I believe.
Cowboys at Chargers. Chargers 3.5-point favorites.
That wasn't the one I had in mind. I can see this game going either way. It's going to be a lot of offense. They're both coming off losses, too, so you can't even go with the narrative. I'm going to take the favorites again on this one. I'll take the Chargers. I don't think Eckler will have 0 targets again like he did last week.
I just think that the Cowboys' defense is going to continuously let them down.
Yeah, and they just lost their best defensive player, Lawrence, for 6 to 8 weeks. So I don't know. I think that the best unit will be the Chargers defense on that field. They can at least stop them to where I'm not sure that the Cowboys defense is going to be able to stop the Chargers. So I'll take the Chargers.
So coming up with that, it's got to be the Titans at Seahawks. Seahawks are 5.5-point
It is
favorites.
the
You're taking
Titans.
Titans?
I'm taking the Titans. That is my upset pick of the week. The offense with Julio, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry so much. I don't think Derrick Henry's washed. I don't think Julio is washed. Don't think Tannehill is washed. I've heard it all. I think that their offensive line was abysmal against the Cardinals. The Seahawks pass rush is not particularly good. Bottom 10 in the league. So I think that they should be able to hold up on the line enough to put up some points. I think that's going to be a massive shootout. But I'll take the Titans in my upset of the week.
Just to keep us running separately, I'm going to take the Seahawks because I just love DK, man. He's a drift king.
And
Metcalf.
Just for anyone who's never done it, betting against Russell Wilson is the worst thing to ever do. Just watching the game, because you're like, everything goes terribly, and then you're like, oh, Russell Wilson squirts free for an 8-yard and slides for a first down, and I have to like live through all this again, and then, and then it's like sack, incompletion, and then Russell Wilson sneaks away for 12 yards. Like that dude just does that. My dad's best friend hates Pete Carroll and hates some of the Seahawks players. And so he's grown to hate Russell Wilson just because of that. Because we'd watch a game rooting against him, and Russell Wilson will just make them win.
Go Hawks. Yeah,
He just does his thing. He's so good.
he's got a little bit of that Adonis DNA, Tiger blood, Tom Brady in him. Just not quite enough. He'd have 2 rings, and Brady would have 1 less if they would have handed the ball off. Maybe. I don't know.
Marshawn gets in. It was second down.
He's actually category like one of the worst 4th down running backs in history.
But it was second down. Run it 2 more times and then throw, maybe.
They should have handed it off.
I would have handed it off to him at least because they handed it off to him. First and goal from the 8, 7 yards. And then they throw it. Run up there, snap it again, let him get his crack from the 1. Ugh. Makes me sick.
Chiefs at Ravens. Chiefs are 3.5. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I think the front 4 of, if they can play smart enough, and just work on contain, the rest of the Chiefs have enough speed, I think, to maintain and contain. He's a fucking video game.
Darren Waller had a big game, right, against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Now they get Kelsey, which even we'll call them equals for this argument. I don't think Tyreek Hill and Henry Ruggs are equal. And I don't think Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr are equal.
No, that's true.
And so they gave up 33 last week. I know it doesn't transfer week to week like that, but when you think about how much trouble they had with Waller, because Waller had 19 targets, he was open on much more than his 10 catches.
He could have had more. Carr missed a few.
And Tyreek is much more dangerous than Ruggs, especially when you factor in that Tyreek has Mahomes. That's a cheat code. That's like playing on Madden. Just being like, Tyreek, go long, I'm going to extend the play, and then eventually you'll be open.
And, they have McCole Hardman, I just love watching him play too, because he's just a little tiny
fast.
bugger. So fucking fast. He might be faster than Reek. I don't know.
They literally just said, here's Tyreek, or here's Travis Kelce, and here's some guys who are really fast. And then Patrick Mahomes has a cannon, and it's wonderful to watch.
With one of the best coaches of all time.
I will root for the Chiefs, obviously, as a Steelers fan, but as someone if you weren't a fan of someone in the NFC North, what just good television?
You have to pick.
Lamar and Mahomes. I mean, that's highlight city.
I thought when the Bears got Matt Nagy, it's like, oh shit, here we come, KC. All right. Oh nope, not even close.
It's Mahomes, Lamar is exciting, and Kyler Murray's exciting. I mean, I think the most exciting players are like Mahomes, Kyler.
Yeah, people who extend plays.
Lamar. Oh yeah, people to just do stuff that you're like, what? And then quietly, some of the best guys, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady aren't as fun to watch, but are very good.
Unless
Mahomes
it's the fourth
best.
quarter.
I'm not saying that.
Like if you're watching in the fourth quarter, I do love to watch Tom Brady because
last week on our first episode, he's so calm. You just knew he was going to drive down there for that field goal. And he was just like, come on, guys, we have 30 seconds. Just
they show the sideline. He's just ready. Like how do you play in the league for 20 plus years and just like have that kind of fire on a regular season game, especially if you've won?
That dude's never going to be able to leave football. Even when he retires, he doesn't have to do coach, offensive coordinator. He can't. He's too competitive. He can't just sit on a sideline. Even if he's terrible, he'll go coach at like a FCS school because he's not going to be able to let go.
Yeah, I don't think he can let go of the football.
No, he's too competitive.
And his wife hates that.
Oh, no, and she's going to be like, stay home and sell male UGG boots with me. And he's going to be like, that sounds terrible. And then he's going to go coach, Appalachian Tech State, Polytechnic for women or whatever I said, if he's not good. Because he'll want to coach Michigan. Would they let him go?
He's not. He's not going to go coach Michigan because he said he never wants to live in a cold state again.
Oh yeah, unless he. What if Robert Kraft called him and said he'd fire Bill? Would his personal vendetta make him go to the Pats?
That's a good. He would just do it for one season just to get Bill out.
Like USC, that'd be a good fit.
He is a He was born and raised in like Santa Barbara or something.
California. they're a big school, and it's a little more lax because you're playing in the Pac-10 instead of
And there's such boosters that he has all the money in the world at his disposal.
Tom doesn't strike me like Tampa Tom doesn't strike me as someone who wants to go coach in the SEC.
No.
Even though it's more competitive, I think it's not fun.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, probably plays an issue.
Fun. You put up points in the Pac-10.
Ball out. And
SEC's about defense. That's no fun.
so the Athletic put out just today. Tom Brady thinks another 6 seasons is possible. He says he thinks he can play until 50.
I hope so. I always say, at what point do you become a Tom fan? Like, if you're a hater, like, if he's out there doing like double nickel, he's 55, 14-time Super Bowl champion.
AARP Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's 55 out there, and he's won the Super Bowl 13 times, and he's going for number 14.
I think I became a fan when he, when he came to Tampa and he started doing interviews and shit, and found out that he was cool as hell and he cusses all the time.
Bill's just a fun sucker.
Bill is just an a-hole. I don't think Bill made Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady made the Patriots.
I said that as soon as they were leaving. I was like, as great as Belichick, is, he was a bad coach when he coached for Cleveland the first time. He didn't win amazingly until Tom came. And then when people always want to point to the Matt Castle year where they went 11-5 without Tom.
Did they lose in the wild card?
Oh, they were terrible. Yeah, they lost immediately. But here's the thing: is they were 11-5. They had one of the easiest schedule in football because back then the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins were all jokes. And also, the team that just left was the 16-0 team that was untouchable. So any quarterback could have taken that team to 11-5 because they're top to bottom and they were stacked.
They should not have fucking lost to the Giants.
Scary
Beautiful
Terry.
touchdown throw by Drinky Heineke.
Scary Terry.
Terry McLaurin, yeah. He's just a great under the radar wide receiver, it seems.
He's great.
I'm not a huge fan of Heineke's wind up because it looks like he's trying so hard to get it there. But I'm rooting for him. All right, so we both took KC. Last game, Monday Night Football. Lions at Packers. Packers 11-point favorites.
As much as I hate to say it, I'll take the Packers. I would love for the Lions to win. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, we're both taking GB in that one. I think Rodgers isn't going to let anything fucking bad happen there. So it took us a long time to do all the picks.
Yeah, it took a minute.
Did you find 5 characters that you hate?
I did.
You don't have to unveil it now. We don't have to do that today. Because I found like 7. I might have to weed it out a little bit.
Okay. Well, it's up to you.
A thing I want to talk about is I embarrassed myself at home a little bit, I think. Although Nicole wasn't embarrassed, but I had a few drinks. I think life was good. And then I found a subreddit called Made Me Cry. And it was
Okay.
just
Never a good start to a story when you said, then I found a subreddit.
It was just tons of shit that just makes you cry. And it got me. So I became an emotional person. And then we were talking about Jackson stuff. And I was watching him on the baby monitor. And he was starting to get sick. And I was just thinking about how much I loved him. Man, it was an emotional night. And I watched this movie on HBO Max. What was it? I wrote it down what movie it was too. Emotional. All My Life is a movie. So this guy, spoiler alert, it's only going to be a few seconds. It's been out since 2019. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's on you.
Worth watching?
It was, if you want to cry. It's sad. Dude meets a girl, as always. They get engaged, and he finds he had terrible stomach pain. Goes to the doctor. They find a mass in his liver cancer. Things are looking good. Treatment goes well. Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Go ahead. It doesn't sound like something I want to watch right now.
I don't. I just had it on
TV. I told you TV is my escape. So my escape usually is into cancer.
Yeah. I didn't even know it because I I didn't even read the description when I clicked it. I just put on a movie because I was charting, and it hooked me in. So he starts going through his treatment for his cancer, and then all of a sudden it quits working, and it metastasized, and now they said 6 months if he's lucky. And it hit me so hard because it's like, can you imagine being like a 27-year-old dude, you just met the love of your life, you're going to get married, and now you're going to die. Like, life is just so fucking unfair. So then I had the whole existential crisis. You believe in God? How can you believe in God that's going to do that to somebody? Hey, life's perfect, right? Not for long, bitch. You're out. And then on the other side of it, like she met the love of her life, and now he's gone. Now she's just got to walk on this mortal coil alone.
And then how hard that makes dating after that. Like, I always think about that with like young widows. Like this, like how secure the other person has to be to date someone who, knowing that like if your husband wouldn't have died, we never would have been together.
Never.
Like that's more security because you could never ask her to compare.
Yeah, because
you're a monster.
And you don't want to because there's a good chance you won't win.
Well, and even if you do, it's a horrible thing to ask someone. You know your husband that you love that's dead now?
Compare yourself to a saint who...
he would at least had a small penis, right? Like, I'm packing, he's slacking. Like, right? Like, you can't ask those questions.
So that's so true.
That would always be so hard. I don't know if I'm secure enough to be... Not someone's second choice, but you know what I mean. Kind of their second choice.
I could date a divorcee. I don't think I could date a widow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because no one hates their husband more than somebody who's divorced. I mean, like, divorced women hate their husbands.
Yeah, it's good to date them immediately after the divorce because then it's just like, you're getting... She's riding you. She's breaking you off.
No, but I mean, stereotypically, it's like, would you rather, end world hunger or... punch your husband and the ex-husband in the nuts, and it's like those nuts are gonna hurt tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad.
Emotional Saturday Night. Let me check that off. Oh, another news. Speaking of death, Norm Macdonald died.
Norm Macdonald. Do you hear his joke he left on his deathbed though? Fantastic.
The cancer. It's
that
a draw.
You can't lose the cancer. It's a draw. Fantastic.
Because I had never heard that before, so I do think that's an original.
Yeah.
You can't lose the cancer because if I die, it dies too. So it's kind of a draw. Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of his work. He did have some great SNL skits.
I just remember Billy Madison.
Which I just watched on Sunday because...
When Adam Sandler's like, before? What day is it? And he goes, October. Like,
do you want
to
go get that horse drunk? I'm going to go get the bucket. It was just on Freeform 2 days ago. There was a Adam Sandler.
They're gonna shove Norm Macdonald stuff down our throat for a little bit.
Oh, it was an Adam Sandler one. So I played Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy. Just
Bobby
go with
Boucher.
it. One of the greatest linebackers of all time.
I love when people try to say that he's the best. I've heard people do the discussion of like best fictional sports characters of all time, and people want to play Bobby Boucher and Paul Crewe, and there's one answer. There's a correct answer to that question. I mean, if we're thinking about it logically, there is a correct answer, and it's Clark Kent. It's freaking the quarterback of Smallville. It's Superman.
So you watch Smallville, huh?
No, I think just in general, he's done it in the comics too. Like, if you really took it, if you put Superman.
Superman as an athlete would be pretty...
You would never tackle him. He would just literally just fly into the end zone. Like, obviously, you have to, like, take him out of the discussion to have a real discussion about who the best, like, fictional football players are. You have to take Superman out of it because that's...
Paul Wrecking Crew, though.
I understand, but, like, are they allowed to have kryptonite on the field? Because, like, that's the one thing that could make it even.
I think maybe they can't... Yeah.
But if there's a kryptonite ban, if that's an illegal substance in football, you just can't stop him. Patrick Mahomes is a shame. Go get in the end zone. I'll hit you.
Blow through you. That fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich does look good, but I think I had it when it first came out.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It was it? I think I might have.
I had 2 of them on Friday. Last Friday.
Which KFC do you go to?
I went to the KFC on Tamiami in between, like, in between.
On the way to
Marshall and
Punta
Port
Gorda?
Yeah.
Okay. The buffet one?
I don't know. I got it in the car, drive through. We just were trying to eat on the way, and I got 2 sandwiches because I was like, I'm not gonna get fries or anything. I'm gonna try to keep it healthy. And then KFC completely screws me and gives me an extra meal that we didn't order with our food of their new crispy fried, like extra crispy fried chicken tenders. So I ate all those too. So I had the 2 sandwiches and like 4 or 5 tenders, and it was amazing and also terrible. And then we went to Social House and I had a brookie cheesecake, which was like a chocolate chip cookie on top of cheesecake. The crust was a brownie.
We just went to Social House. They got a new menu.
I like it. That's my wife's favorite place right now. She loves Social House.
I think Ice House is still better than Social House, but they do have
I agree, but
pork belly tacos we had at Social House. They were delicious. And
she just likes the atmosphere of Social House outside.
it looks like it doesn't look like it should be a restaurant. That's what's the best about it, I guess, because it looks like a fucking gazebo with a food truck in it and a white picket fence. It's pretty cool. And big ass TVs. I told Nicole I wanted to do that to make it so I have 4 TVs set up as one giant TV. That might be on the agenda in the future, but the controller's like $400. You got an iPhone. See the new one coming out?
Yeah, the coolest feature by far. Like usually I'm not an Apple guy. I have an iPhone. This is the budget iPhone. I'm not usually one to spend up for phones, but the coolest one by far is you don't have reception. You could still text and make phone calls. Even if you're not getting satellite reception. That's so cool. I don't know how I don't know all the science behind it, but it's pretty impressive.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a legal block on one of the receivers.
So the new features of the iPhone, smaller notch, bigger battery. I have the 12 now, and it improves the camera. So you can do like a fully 3 times digital zoom or optical zoom versus the digital. But I'm kind of let down that they filed all these patents to make it so you could have a Touch ID on your screen, and they didn't put it in there. So I don't know. There's nothing wrong with my phone right now. Pre-orders start tomorrow morning at 10. I probably shouldn't do it because I haven't given it enough thought. Like, I didn't even follow it, and I wouldn't have known that they had unveiled it for the pre-order, except for my fucking Twitter feed, because I'm like the Apple insider and everything. There is a cool new color. It's like a Sierra blue. I would like that. It would match my watch band and my watch. Oh, and variable refresh rate. So if you are a person that watches like a bunch of different content, it can change your phone's screen's refresh rate. So that would be pretty sweet. Everything would always be smooth if you're watching video. I watch a lot of YouTube on my phone. Are you a YouTube Premium person?
No.
Man, we differ in a lot of things except our picks.
I just don't pay money for things. That's a general life rule.
I pay for it because I can't use my Spotify account, which I already pay for, because we play white noise machines, which is connected to my Spotify. So if Jackson's taking a nap and the white noise is playing, if I click a song in the car, it turns it off, and then he wakes up and he fucking gets mad. So
they make white noise machines for like $20.
I just taught Mom and Nicole how to use the Sonos and do it. I still have to teach Mom how to set up her Apple Watch again, because she lost her phone on the plane back from Michigan. She just got it back after 6 weeks. So now we have to resync some shit. It's a whole thing. It's a whole to-do. Starting price is $699 up to $1029 for the iPhone 13 mini, $799 up to $1129 for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Man, it's a lot of money. But really,
you get the Samsung, they can fold. They're the foldable phones now.
I'm afraid that just gonna fucking break.
Fold phones.
And then speaking of Apple and movies, Apple's been in negotiations with Christopher Nolan for his new movie. I don't think Christopher Nolan is worth what he wants. Judging by how his previous releases have gone lately and how much that fucker can't make a sound for shit. What happened there? I hate how his movies sound. Like the dialogue, I can't fucking hear it, so I have to watch it twice. Oh, good bounce.
Oh, you're not a fan. You're not a fan of.
Hey, I'm Batman.
And like you can't control your audio because the speaking is like at a whisper, and then it's just screaming during the action scenes. That's my Christopher Nolan experience. And like I love the Batman movies to death, but that's terrible.
The amount of times I had to rewind to listen to the dialogue.
Or you sit with your remote and you're like, volume up, volume down, volume up, volume down. And that's horrible.
And I had to do that for the Black Klansman too.
All of his movies. Its action scenes are loud, and then you don't have to hear anyone talk. So just put on subtitles and keep it down.
Did you ever see Tenet?
I feel like, yeah, great. It was great, though.
I didn't watch it yet.
It was fantastic. Was that Christopher Nolan, too?
It is.
And,
Inception.
And, Ricky Jarrett.
Ricky Jarrett.
Maybe
Yeah.
Denzel.
I really like him. He's such a fucking good actor.
He's fantastic.
I think I like him more than Denzel Washington.
And the weird thing is, I like Robert Pattinson a lot in Tenet. Like, enough so that I'm like, I don't think he's going to suck as Batman.
That's what I've heard. I heard he took that shit seriously.
No, he will. He's a good actor now. Like, it's kind of crappy because he trashes on Twilight. And he's like, oh, I wish I'd never done those movies. I'm like, he wouldn't have been famous.
Exist.
Like, that made you. Like, yes, it was your worst acting.
No fuck. Speaking of this weird shit, you see that just ranch water, hard seltzer? No rancher is drinking seltzer beers.
No. It's Budweiser and moonshine.
Moonshine.
And real moonshine. Not like
the one that you
apple
get
pie moonshine. Like
which I've
the kind of like if it's too close to a flame, it'll explode.
Yeah, my grandpa from South Carolina, step grandpa, before my grandma died. So we got to try the White Lightning, like the shit. Oh,
It's not enjoyable.
there's no redeeming quality. You can't mix it with anything because even if you put a mixer with it, it doesn't improve the flavor. It just makes the mixer taste like shit.
It's like the opposite of rum chata.
Right.
Where like I would mix rum chata with alcohol all the time in college, and people would be like, "Why would you mix? I don't know, Jaeger and rum chata. What's that taste like? It tastes like rum chata. Rum chata takes over whatever it's with. So like you can just sneak alcohol in. Like everyone's doing a Rumpelman shot, and you're kind of done with your peppermint for the night, and you're just like, I'll put in some rum chata, and then it'll taste like rum chata, and I'll get 100 proof snuck in there.
First time I had Rumpelmints was back up in Wisconsin at this bar made of wood. It was rough.
Yeah, I used to go and just grab a bottle of chocolate milk and get crazy.
My mom asked me what rum chata, what it mixes with.
Everything. The answer to that question.
Oh, 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Kid came out. It's time for bed. About to announce something. We didn't see the injury by the lineman from the Giants.
Nick Gates, we owe you an apology.
That was a fucking broken leg. A hardcore compound fracture. A point in the wrong direction. It's
Yeah, your leg's supposed to look
good
like a
pass
lowercase
breakup.
L, and his is now looking like an uppercase L.
it was
Never a good thing.
that was rough. Anyway, rum chata, that was your mixer, huh?
I would
Back in the day.
It really wasn't, because really I drank a lot of Burnett's Limeade and Burnett's Blueberry like a college kid. Rum chata was my preference, but rum chata is $20 and it's only like 16% alcohol. You could for like $6 go get your Burnett's. So, but as everyone else does, I went through my patterns. Like I liked Sailor Jerry.
That
When it was on the cheaper end. Then it got expensive. It's cheap here in Florida, apparently, compared to Indiana.
apparently, it's one of those things that it goes through cycles where it becomes like this. It becomes the most popular mixed spiced rum. That, and then it's back to Captain and Coke. Or man, one of my longest stints I think was Captain and Ginger.
So I never really understood the whole Captain craze. I was very short on spiced rum. I did a little bit of Sailor Jerry, then moved on to Kraken I moved on to Kraken for a little bit, and then I was just like, whiskey is better than spiced rum.
I drink like a bitch, although really not in the past couple years. I've really developed my flavors. Like I love an old fashioned, and I make a really good old fashioned now. It's truly about the ingredients.
Oh, like a true alcoholic, I would go with gin and like tonic, like just a little amount of tonic. Like throw a lime wedge in there.
It's a great diet drink though. Like
Just
if you want to get wasted and not get fat, vodka soda.
Gin will get you there. I used to drink some gin, put it away like a fifth in
tastes
like 2 hours.
I can't get into gin though. It tastes like fucking
Juniper berry.
pine needles, man. Like when I smell it, I smell the fucking Christmas tree, and just like, so gin is never gonna get me there. Vodka and diet sweet tea. Aspartame's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna get skinny. So since I was last did the podcast, I've actually lost like 13 pounds.
In a week?
No, not this. No.
Before we did our first episode.
3 pounds since last week.
I was like, which limb
The
did
year,
you lose?
the year, yeah. I before you announced you said you wanted to do it. I was, babe. When was the last time I'd done the podcast with Lowell? It's several months, right? What did you think I was going to ask you? What did you want me to ask you? That means you had expectations. So what were they?
Keep them low. I didn't have expectations, babe. I just didn't think that you were asking about the podcast.
Love you too, babe. Relationship full of love there. Could feel it.
On
Powerful.
your side. And I love that quote from The Office when Andy's getting broke up with by Aaron. And Aaron's like, there's just not any love in this relationship because on your side. But there's plenty on my side to get us through. Like,
for enough for both of us. You'll learn to love me. Is Andy Bernard on your list, your characters of 5 that you hate the most? No. God,
I don't have it in a particular order, but we can just spitball them. Charles Minor on my list. The Office is one of my favorite shows of all time, and I will just watch it on repeat and then just skip the Charles Minor episodes.
he's only in like 7 episodes, 6 episodes.
He's only in like 3 that matter. Like he's only in 3 that he really annoys me.
Charles
Like,
Minor, that's the Idris Elba, right?
Yeah, when he's there and Michael's out of the office, it's horrible. And he just bullies
Yeah,
Jim, and I just don't like that direction. And like that show goes through a segment where they have Will Ferrell be weird, and they have like all these different characters.
The dunk.
None of them bother me as much as
But,
Charles Minor.
See, Nelly bothers me more than Charles Minor.
And that's fair. But the Charles Minor thing to me is like, why did we put this realistic person in the show? Like everyone else
He's
is
like-
like super weird. It's like they just put like a real
boss.
boss in there, and he's like, you can't do that. Like, what is going on? Like, it's like, no, Michael has, like David Wallace was the closest thing to a real boss, and he just like had a soft spot for Michael. And then they bring in Charles Minor, who's like, absolutely not. That's insane.
Charles Minor was the real regional manager.
They put a real life manager.
Very much just like, yeah, just get the numbers together and bring it back. Yeah. Okay, so Charles Minor's on there. Well, I completely disagree with that. That's okay though. That's
fine.
That's fair. Only because I fucking hated Nelly.
Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I only just recently watched all the movies.
See, I love Harry Potter, and this is another unpopular opinion on my part, but special. He's not a TV character, so it's kind of like a special honorable mention that I want to talk about. Albus Dumbledore.
You hate Dumbledore?
I hate Dumbledore.
You're a wizard, Harry.
No, and here's why. He is like 800 billion years old or whatever, and he like leaves the fate of the school up to an 11-year-old, and then a 12-year-old, and then a 13. He's like, Harry's got this, and then
He was marked.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like when you find out. Spoiler alert for you who's not watched Harry Potter, but that's on you at this point.
At this point, yeah. 12 years of
When you
movies.
find out that Harry is a Horcrux and that he has to die at the end, I'm like, no wonder Dumbledore just let him do everything. He's like, if he dies now,
Nothing bad
I
happens.
get one. Like, it's one down. Like, find my Dumbledore. And always, like, whenever I binge watch it with my wife, I'm always like, find my Dumbledore. And Harry's like, I'm going to go to the chamber. And he's like, find my Dumbledore. You go down to the chamber and fight the basilisk that if you look at, you die. Because you're 12. You've got this. And then don't send the kids home when they're all dying. They just like the irresponsibility of Dumbledore. In the Goblet of Fire, he draws the name and he's like, Harry, did you put your name in this? And Harry's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, you could die. You're not old enough. But the goblet has spoken. What? We know people want Harry dead, and Harry's saying that he didn't put his thing in this or just let this happen. Like Dumbledore, no, absolutely not. Not a fan. And he did some shady stuff with his sister that you never really learned, but you just know he did it. And like,
So wait, I mix up Dumbledore. That's not the wizard. It's the big bearded guy. Who's it?
that's Hagrid.
Damn
Dumbledore
it!
is the
Dumbledore's the wizard.
He's
so
the
he's
headmaster.
the
Yeah, he's just
he's an asshole.
He kind of is the worst. Like everyone loves him. And then
Hagrid's adorable.
Hagrid is maybe one of my favorite characters of all time.
Okay.
He's a big bull and nothing. Like as far as like what he brings to the table, but he's just genuinely sweet.
He's like Ralph on The Simpsons.
Never really watched The Simpsons.
I'm in danger.
Oh yeah, but like just fantastic. Hagrid is fantastic.
Okay, yeah. Dumbledore is kind of a schmarmy prick.
Yeah, and he's just lets the 11 and 12-year-olds do stuff. He's supposed to be like one of the best wizards of all time, and he's like, Harry's 12. He's known he's a wizard for a year and a half. He's got this. Like, no.
What about the teacher, the one that takes over?
Minerva McGonagall?
Is that the bitch in the pastel
Yeah.
colored?
Yeah, she's fine.
What? She's the one that tries to eliminate everything.
Oh,
Beverly
you're
or-
Dolores Umbridge.
Dumbridge, that's it.
Yeah, here's the thing. She's a villain. Like I can get on board with a villain being hateable. Like that's not what I would with this list. Like
But it hit me. It hit me. That's why I hate
she's
it.
super annoying like that. But like no, like I can get past it. Like she's a hateable character, but she was supposed to be hateable. Dumbledore you're supposed to like, and I'm just not on board.
Okay, so we vary a little bit in the how we characterize the hatred. So we talk about it's supposed to be a villain. Like King Joffrey is my number one. Like as an adult, I know he's a teenager, but nothing brought on hatred for a character for me the way he did. Like because he had the true psychopath and sociopathic tendencies. Like clearly a dude that would strangle his parents' cat. Clearly would molest someone. Like because he hit those marks so well and loved torture, Joffrey just when he fucking got strangled by the poison,
to me that makes him a good character almost.
He was an excellent character,
because
but
everyone like was so happy when he
I
died.
hated him so much.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is like
his performance is amazing, and
like,
what
did you ever
sucks.
watch Dexter?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like the Trinity Killer is like super creepy and awful, but fantastic.
Nailed
acting.
it.
So awesome. Like one of my favorite characters ever in a show.
I think it's one of the things. King Joffrey is played by John Cleese III or something. Like he's in a family of actors, and he's like the third generation. He left making films because of how well he played that part and all the hate that he received. He's like, I don't want to do this. So he's like doing like a little bit of like public theater.
It's so funny how that works. So you get tight, you get to where you're stuck. Like, do you ever watch Get Him to the Greek?
Yeah, Jonah Hill and
Russell Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand. He's crazy too.
They're sitting there talking to can't think of his name right now. The guy who plays Draco.
Malfoy.
Yeah, I forget who plays him. But
Yeah.
I want to say it's Tom something, but they're sitting there talking to him. They're like, you're the Harry Potter guy. He's just like that's his life now. Like it's just I don't know. I just think that would suck. Emma Watson made it out.
I mean, really, so did Harry Potter. He's done some really weird, obscure
He does
shit.
weird stuff, but he's done other stuff.
I think it's because he hated the idea of that. He hated the big promo stuff. So like the stuff you have to follow the studio. Like there's so much control. I think he went independent to be able to be who he wanted to be.
When he was like 13, he got signed to like a 10-year, 8-film contract. That has to be overwhelming. And so he's like, I don't
Probably
wanna
really
do that.
fucking sucks.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm gonna just be naked on my birthday every year.
He did The Woman in Black, and that was pretty decent. A little horror movie. Russell Brand. When you talk about him, he was so weird to me, and I hated him so much because of the divorce with Katy Perry, and I had a huge crush on her when I was younger. He's a crazy, like, cool activist.
He is in my favorite movie of all time.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes, love that movie. So many quotable lines from it.
That's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Like,
That's one of your favorite
weather
movies.
outside is weather. Like, just such a minor thing. He's like, thanks for the seat at the table. It's so close to the buffet. I'm glad you like it. Like, just like
I wish Jason Segel was in more things. I wish he was in, because I'm a big fan.
Oh, me too. And even the line, like, anytime where the Dracula song is the third best song in a film is fantastic. Because number 2...
Die.
Yeah.
Die.
I think that was third to me, because number 2 was Inside of You. Just fantastic. And the number 1 is when he's having his meltdown. And he's on the piano, and he's like, go see the psychiatrist. I hate the psychiatrist. Go see him anyway. I'm not going. Like, that's gold. That's fantastic.
I think that song actually could, like, apply to most people's lives.
Yeah. No, it's great. And the cast, I love Jonah Hill was in that movie.
Fuck you, man. I think Jonah Hill.
Right?
Jonah Hill, I think, is super underrated.
Oh, there's a new movie coming out with him and Leo.
Oh, because they're buddies.
And Jennifer Lawrence and Meryl Streep.
I just saw the first images from it like a couple weeks ago.
I just watched the preview.
Is that another Scorsese film? No, it's not.
No. Nope.
But it is another. It doesn't matter. Whatever Leo's in with him and Jonah, like the Wolf. That was a badass movie.
It's gonna be a very interesting movie. It looks like it's about a comet coming towards Earth. And Leonardo's like super stressed about it. I don't know. It looks good. I will definitely watch that one when it comes out.
So you want to talk about characters you're supposed to like, but you secretly hate? You ever watch Gilmore Girls?
Rory Gilmore. She's awful.
Piece of shit.
She
had a huge crush on her when I was a kid, but then she just turns into a victim.
Oh, she's so bad. And she
cheating
cheats
slut
a couple times, and like your life was like your grandparents like made your life so easy. You get into like this. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know how she can be such a victim while at the same time being handed everything.
You know who's a great character in that movie? That Luke. Luke's fantastic.
Oh,
the guy who owns the diner.
I always forget his name. He's in a couple of things, and I always enjoy him because he just comes off as such a down to earth dude.
Yeah, he's great in that.
I also had a huge crush on Lauren Graham because of Bad Santa.
I've always I always said that if I had like endless money, I wanted to just to break everyone's brains, like make a movie where Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel date each other. Just make everybody watch that because like they're not related technically, but it would freak everyone out.
And they even came back. Well, how many years after did they bring an?
Oh yeah, they did
the mini season.
I forgot about that. I forgot that happened.
That was on Netflix. I never even watched it, but I had a couple friends that they were signing petitions on the internet to try to like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Well, it ended with like Rory's pregnant, and they don't tell you by who or something. I don't know.
So, Logan,
Yeah,
blonde dude.
Yeah, that's who they think it is. I think
I loved him.
all of her boyfriends are cool. Dean was cool.
Dean's cool, but the reason
Jess was cool.
I loved him because he's also in The Resident now.
Zach was the best, and not because he shares my name.
Is that the one that looked kind of
The one
brooding?
who married the Asian girl.
Black hair brooding guy?
No, who dated? That was Jess. Who dated
Jess,
the
okay.
Asian girl? What was her name? Her best friend.
I actually haven't seen it since like high school.
Zach was the one who married her.
You ever seen Max? The guy, Logan was in it. Is another reason I loved him. And he was in another movie that was, he was an asshole in it. It's based on a true story too. Anyway.
Angelica Pickles is pretty awful. Like she's like a 6-year-old hanging out with literal infants.
And
they're barely walking
fucking
around.
asshole. Yeah.
She's like bullying them. That's pretty bad.
Dumb babies.
My least favorite character of all time, though, and it's one that a lot of people seem to like, is Phoebe Buffay.
Smelly cat.
Like
Is it because she's psychotic?
She's so mean to her friends. If you really like, my wife, it's her favorite show. Everything out of her mouth is mean. She's just putting down on her friends all the time, and I'm just like, I would prefer her not be in this show.
She is truly a hipster that judges people for not being hipsters.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. Like I would think the show would have been better without her. Like
And
she
I
didn't
hated-
bring anything to the plot even.
I hated that she had her brother's babies.
Yeah, that's so weird. And I love Ross. I know a lot of people hate Ross. I love Ross. Did you ever watch Friends?
Pivot. Oh, all of them.
All of the best moments are Ross. The
Yeah.
tanning bed, the teeth whitening,
I do feel
the
bad
leather
that
pants,
I hate
my sandwich, Pivot,
Pivot.
the one where they're doing the hotel they're leaving and he's like saying goodbye to the hotel. Yeah, this. Like all the best moments are Ross.
He is easily hateable because he's such a schmuck.
The best one of all time, the best moment in the show, in my opinion, is when
Bye bye me.
not Bruce Willis, Rachel's dad
Oh yeah.
is in his house, and so is J.D. McKissick vulturing a touchdown from Antonio Gibson. That's fun. Is in his house, and then Mona is in his house. And he's like explaining it, and he's like sitting there talking, and he's like, Mona, I like you or whatever, and he's like, but you knocked up my daughter. I offered to marry her, but I didn't want to. And then he's like trying to like toe that line, and then the phone rings, and it's Joey and Chandler, and they're like, hey Ross, there's a hooker over here, and we think you might need something about it. And he's just like, no. Oh, another good one, the fajita scene, where he starts dating Charlie and Rachel's dating Joey, and he's like, I'm making fajitas.
I'm a big Ross Geller fan.
Dude, Ross is the best character in the show, in my opinion, because all the best moments are him.
Isn't he also like the best actor too? Because he'd won like Tonys or something.
Everyone wants it to be Matthew Perry and Chandler. Everyone says that he's the best. His jokes are all one-liners that are like formulaically set up.
Anyone could have done Chandler.
And they're formulaically set up each time. It's like da 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 da. He says a joke. Da 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 da. Ross is just doing stuff that just doesn't make any sense. Love Ross.
He owned. Right, like I bet. Like Pivot was probably improvised that bit. He probably just made it his own. He's like, everybody knows.
Speaking of making it your own, I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays the janitor in Scrubs.
Mike Flynn.
Yeah, they said that eventually they quit writing him lines, and it just says whatever Mike says. Would
He's
be the
hilarious.
line. And he would just fill it. He just filled in like the last 6 seasons. So it was just whatever he wanted. He was originally going to only be in the first season.
And only a couple of episodes in that. He was supposed to be made up, and Zach
Braff
Braff.
became like the third biggest character between like JD
And then he got his own show in the middle.
which is also great.
He's a really good actor. He's also like apparently a super nice guy. Like he just like does interviews. We could probably get him on this shitty fucking podcast. Like he's that good of a person.
Love me some Mike Flynn.
Papa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
You know, he couldn't get out of bed for
A completely bedridden man getting taken care of by his whole family, but as soon as Charlie gets a golden ticket,
things are looking up. I'm a fair weather grandfather.
and really that's about it. Although he's also he's a bad influence, peer pressure, and Charlie to drink the fizzy stuff so they'd float in the air and they had to burp to get it out. He's a piece of shit. He could have got Charlie killed. I gotta say, worst people on the planet, and it's because he's so popular down here because he was just down here in Sarasota. Bam Margera.
Who?
Bam Margera. Viva La Bam. Jackass. Really?
Yeah, apparently not. Got nothing on you.
You've never seen the Jackass movies?
I have, but I don't know which one he is.
Okay, so Viva La Bam was another show. He had his own show. He was also in the Unholy Union. That was another MTV show where he married a girl he knew in high school. A bunch of DUIs. Got kicked out of the new Jackass movie. Piece of shit to his fans. He was just here, like, he's in Sarasota, so he's less than an hour away. He did like a meet and greet, and he got fucking trashed and was trying to hit on the preteen girls that were here to meet him. It was fucking disgusting. Just one of the worst people I've ever encountered. I counted him because he is a movie star and a television star, although it's reality TV. Piece of shit. Who else did I have? Shameless. You ever see Shameless?
Yeah.
Deb. I fucking hated Deb from like season 7 on. When she tricked that guy into knocking her up.
Yeah. I really wasn't a big Fiona fan either.
She
got worse. She was pretty good. But like once she let
decided she wanted to leave.
Oh no, who's the youngest kid? Blanking on his name right now.
The little black kid?
Yeah, what's his name?
Little black
let him
kid.
get cocaine. Like completely inexcusable. Like you know what I do for a living. Like there's no excuse. She was so responsible for so long and then just snapped. And you know what? In my mind, she was worse than Frank in that moment. Because Frank has issues.
I think Frank has fried his brain at such a point, and he's
broken.
He can't be held accountable.
Like, yeah, he's broken, and he knows he's broken, and no one would rely on him because you understand he's a mess. Like, I really like what someone said. Oh, I didn't know you were gay because he was giving people blowjobs in the bathroom for money. He goes, I am what I have to be. Like, he's just a mess of a person. Not that being gay is a mess, but more
True.
just
No,
like,
he's just a true addict.
He's just like, yeah, he's an addict. He just has to be on drugs.
It's getting
and
his
drunk.
fix.
And to where Fiona, I feel like, just used it as an excuse at times to make bad decisions. She was in control of her actions.
She chose to be a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Although
And I used to get upset with Lip too.
Lip,
because he
no one. He's so naturally gifted. He is like Josh Gordon in the NFL.
But it became Frank. Became his daddy.
Although I was watching part of the last season, which I didn't realize was the last season when it popped on my YouTube TV. He's trying to make a turn. He was like building a house with his wife.
What was the gay brother's name?
I don't know. I always called him Red.
The redhead guy, yeah. He I was gonna say about him. Oh yeah, I thought it was neat how they showed his bipolar, and they did an accurate representation of what it's like to be bipolar. Because everyone always throws that around. I'm bipolar, because they're moody. They're very different things. Manic state and the depressive state, very different.
Very different.
It's not up and down in one day. It's like I'm not getting out of bed for,
days.
Yeah, days. And then the manic state's actually when they're, everyone's worried about their depression state, but it's actually most dangerous when they're in their manic state because they're out there doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, they're just riding.
That's when you do drugs. That's
Yeah.
when you take risks taking behavior.
Imagine a meth addict peak of high. That's how a lot of.
Yeah.
That's also when they also had the big snap. Is usually when then. And then the little brother who went in the gang, and then he went to jail. Carl.
I love Carl.
Now he's a cop.
Of course. He saves the neighborhood.
Which would never that would never. No. You're a felon.
The neighbor.
Oh yeah.
Not Viv, the guy.
Right. I always call him Van because he was on Reba.
A single mom who works 2 jobs, loves her kids, and never stops. If you didn't jam out to that when you were like 10, and feel like you related to that divorced mom.
I watched every episode of that on Lifetime. I watched it on the CW. Huge Reba fan.
Oh yeah. It's so relatable when you're 10 years old to look at the divorced mom who got cheated. It's home.
I'm a child from a broken home. I get it. And,
that's good stuff.
Cheyenne was so hot. And the redheaded sister, who disappeared because she actually had like a major eating disorder and was committed a couple times. I love Van. He's that like if we're talking about like top 10 in my characters of favorites, Van is going to be on that list just because like he would always do whatever it took.
Number one, not my favorite show, but number one character, probably Peter Griffin. He just gets me. Not like in a way that like he understands me or that I understand him, but just like everything he does is so funny to me. Like even just something as stupid as like when he tries to get a frog out of a window and it takes him 3 minutes.
I remember my dad laughing his ass off for several minutes the first time when he hit his shin.
Oh, there's infinite.
The chicken fight.
He does meth in Stewie's room and he goes, "Why is there no hole in this wall?" Just punch like this. Or like when he goes and buys the horse. There's an episode he buys a horse. Like he's done so much stuff that's just an absolute mess. And I love when they poke fun at themselves at times too, where they he goes and they're like they go to a farm because they do the Breaking Bad episode, and the guy's like, "What are you doing? I live here." And he goes, "Oh, did Fox not call you? Usually I just do stuff and then they pay for it." It's so funny to me.
I would like to watch more cartoons because the adult cartoons are like F is for Family.
Rick and Morty's fantastic.
That's why I was ramping up to ask you.
That's
because
one of my favorite shows of all time.
Because you love Family Guy. A lot of people don't correlate.
No, Rick and Morty is one of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite show.
I haven't seen season 5 yet, but the first 3 seasons I have watched. I've watched the first 3 seasons multiple times. It seems like a show that's way smarter than it is. It's really not, but it is just so well done. Mm-hmm. I do hate that Rick doesn't burp near as much as he used to because I loved it. Come to find out that it was given ulcers to Justin Roiland, but I love the random ass burps of Rick. I can't help it.
Season 5 is fantastic.
I'm excited to watch it.
Season 4 had me a little worried that it was going to start to go downhill, but season 5, absolutely fantastic. Every episode was just amazing.
I only watched a couple episodes of season 4. I was like, oh shit, it's going to fall off.
No, season 5 was great. Season 4, they had to deal with the pandemic, so we got to come a little slack.
I should. I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, season 5, though, is
it's just
fantastic.
Nicole, if I turn on a cartoon or something that I like, even a kid's cartoon with Jax around, I'll put on like Sanjay and Craig. That's an awesome fucking kid's cartoon because it's very much slightly less adult than Beavis and Butthead because there's no cussing in it. Mm-hmm. But it is gross. A lot of boogers. They love chicken wings. Sanjay and Craig's that's my favorite kids cartoon as an adult. More than SpongeBob, more than Rugrats, Doug, Hey Arnold, Sanjay and Craig. I'll watch Rick and Morty. Is season 5 done?
Yes.
How many episodes was it?
10.
8? 10? Who else do I fucking hate? The last one, and that was just because I was going through puberty. It was Percy from The Green Mile, the one that didn't dry the sponge. Do you ever see The Green Mile?
I have not seen The Green Mile. I should. Tom Hanks is great.
He is great, but he is no Michael Clark Duncan. Yeah, he...
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
He is fucking phenomenal as John Coffey in that movie. Like, that a movie that'll make you cry. My grandma and dad both watched that the first time I was there and watched them both bawl. It was really good. Percy's a piece of shit. So I won't even spoil it. I know that movie came out fucking 14 years ago or so. That's one of the best written movies probably of all time. And
Stephen King, right?
Yep. There's also John Coffey, who Michael Clark Duncan in there. Excuse me. Is based on a real person who was wrongly accused and convicted and put to death at like 26 years old. And it was just an innocent little black kid in the 1920s or something. It's shit. Time has not been kind to black people over the history. It's like, man, I can't believe it. Well,
it's always
we're so blessed to be white in Florida.
And there's so much, like, people always say, oh, if you get back to any time period, what would you get back to? That's not a fun activity if you're not white. It's like, not backward.
Yeah. Am I born?
Nothing before 1980 for sure. Like, hard no to anything before 1980.
With my luck, I'd go back before 1980, and then I'd have sex with someone who could just give me AIDS, and I'd get gay-related infectious disease and die.
I mean, if you get back to like the 50s, you can just beat your wife.
I can do that now.
Legally.
Right. As a white male in his 30s, if I can go back to any time, I can literally go back to any point in history and be pretty elite.
Yeah, as long as you're not Jewish.
I'm white. I'm not Jewish.
Well, I mean, like, even religious Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be... Hey, the Irish had it rough for a little bit. Not very long. A little bit.
Oh, speaking of, congratulations to the Irish community who just reached... They just surpassed the population from the potato famine.
Wow.
It was
That's a
hundreds of years ago. They just surpassed.
Here's a trivia question for you. Which country has the most redheaded people?
United States?
No. It's not Ireland either. It wouldn't be a fun...
Scotland?
Nope.
Mexico?
Russia. Mexico.
I thought you were really trying to throw me off.
Russia.
Russia.
Which is fine, but it's just not what you think of. You always think of... Like, Ireland is the answer you want to say. Right? Like, you want to say Ireland and then Scotland. You want to hit those up real hard.
It was because so many of the
So many people
population
in Russia.
escaped.
It's just so many people in Russia, I think. Comparatively to Ireland.
Yeah, I think Ireland's at like 19 million people total.
Just blame it on Chernobyl.
Yeah. Oh, so what I wanted to talk about, as a Bears fan, you'd probably... we meet so many people in Florida who are Steelers fans. Like, you are one of probably like...
Oh, I'm not original for that.
Like 100 people that have moved here that I know and are Steelers fans. But Good Morning Football, 4 people on it. All 4 at some point were Bears fans, except Nate Burleson, who is a former Viking. But Kyle Brandt, Bears fan. Kay Adams, born and raised in Chicago, now a fan of another team. I forgot.
Burleson was also a Lion. So
Yeah.
in that same division.
That's true. And Peter Schrager was a writer for The Athletic, for NFL.com, and a couple other things. But they're all Bears fans. So every morning from 7 to 10, I get to listen to a bunch of Bears fans talking on national televised radio. Everyone talks about letting Justin Fields grow. And I understand that. I respect it. He laid out a minute and a half case of why that is such old fucking thinking.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
So here, why don't you look here? Come right here. I don't think it'll extend that far, but yeah, it'll get pretty close. There you go. Throw those on. So Kyle Brandt did. Let me share it for people to listen.
Here's my problem with this. Nagy knows more about quarterbacks than most people in the world. He knows more about this situation than everyone in the world. I can't tell him what to do. But I'm really done with some of the storylines that were getting screamed and bellowed on national TV last night by some people I really respect. We need to move on from this. You have to take them and wait. And people are still talking about Aaron Rodgers waited. It was 16 years ago. There's still Tom Brady waited 21 years ago. Patrick Mahomes waited. Patrick Mahomes would have been just fine. I'm actually starting to think the Chiefs might have cost themselves a Super Bowl run by benching him that year. I'm not even kidding.
I like that.
You can bring up those names. That's fine. Bring them up. But just don't forget there is a whole other species of names in this Justin Fields thing that I'd like to bring up right now. Thomas mentioned one of them in this segment. Roll it. What do you say to these guys, everyone who's saying Rodgers, Mahomes? You're going to bench Cam Newton as a rookie? It would have been ridiculous. It would have been. He was a sensation.
Jimmy Clausen
there. Jimmy, because you were going to start Jimmy Clausen? No. Russell Wilson, right out of the gate. But you got to wait. No. Russell Wilson had it. You play him. Deshaun Watson had to wait a half to get on. Stupidest half the Texans have ever had to not play Deshaun Watson. You want another one? How about this maniac last year? Best rookie season by a quarterback ever. Only got on the field because of a crazy medical mishap. We don't know what would have happened. And now you're going to say you have to wait Justin Fields? I think you have one of those guys. Because Justin Fields is not small program, didn't play, opted. No. He played the biggest college football you could play. He dominated in every category. Best competition you could play. He was teammates with Chase Young and played against him in practice. And yet he sits. And we got Trey Lance playing, we got Lawrence, we got Wilson out of BYU is starting in the New York media market, and this guy can't play. Why do they get to play with their toys and the Bears don't? I'm waiting for a reason, and I haven't heard one. I think you're messing this up, and I think you're sitting Cam Newton and Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson, and I think you got to let them go.
I gave you my reason earlier. Matt Nagy wants to extend his coaching career by a season because he wants to have that in his back pocket so he gets next year. They can have whatever record they want this year, and then he gets another year to piece things together around Fields for next year.
That very well could be it. But his argument there really spread like wildfire on a bunch of other shows. And they're like, well,
Peyton started right away, and he was terrible his rookie
he
year.
led the league in interceptions,
Yeah,
I think, his
and
rookie
he's
year.
still fine. Roethlisberger started his rookie year. Went 14-0.
Yeah, Deshaun made it one half when Tom Savage started, and it was embarrassing.
I mean, and you think about most quarterbacks nowadays, they just start right away because they either have it or they don't. If your quarterback is not mentally tough enough to suck for a year and be bad and then come back from that, they're not what you want anyway. Like, you think it would have broke Tom if Tom would have had some losing seasons? No. He's too mentally tough. Peyton was too mentally tough.
Was Tom a rookie?
No.
Or was it his second year? Third year?
He didn't play until Bledsoe went down. I don't know when that was. I think it was second year.
I think it was his second year.
But what I'm saying is, like...
But he also wasn't a first-round pick.
People
He was.
say that with Daniel Jones. They say that, by being on a bad team and going right away, it broke him mentally. If it can break you...
You weren't strong enough to
You
be
weren't
anything.
strong enough to win Super Bowls. You couldn't play playoff games. It reminds me of
What ruined-
Rodney Hood in the NBA, who came out and said when he got traded to the Cavs and played with LeBron, that he goes, playing with LeBron is hard because you're expected to win, and I don't like that pressure. Like, okay, I don't ever want you on my NBA team.
It's like playing for Jordan. And everyone has said, oh yeah, Jordan's an asshole. And he goes, yeah.
Yep.
Because I have to be.
But like,
Because I'm the best guy in the court, and I'm going to make you practice to my level,
if
not
you
your
can't
level.
perform when you're expected to win, you're not going to win. Like, that's just terrible.
Let's just be okay with losing.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I don't think Danny Dimes has it.
No. He played at Duke.
He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke. He played at Duke
He's
he
not
never
very good.
He was average at Duke, and you get to go to the number 1 market in all of football.
I'm just glad we're finally getting past the stupid measurable stuff, where a quarterback has to be 6'5" and
That's true.
Like we're getting past it. Like with Drew Brees, that's why he slept, and then with Russell Wilson, that's why he slept. And then after a while, they're like, all right, Russell's doing it, Drew's doing it, and then they accepted it and took Kyler early, and Kyler looks great.
Although look at Baker, he's in his 4th year. He's just now getting to above average.
Yeah, and maybe
but he might not have had it either. He played in a great system in college, so he could be a system quarterback who's just taking longer to adapt. Russ was a fucking winner.
Russ is awesome.
I got to watch him his senior year play for Wisconsin, and the first game I got to see him play, he's a redshirt senior. His first game was like, oh, he's that guy.
No, he's awesome.
Because like the Packers have just they're a lineman college and a running back college. Then they had a quarterback, and it was like, oh, so this is a pro quarterback. We've gotten to watch a bunch of college quarterbacks. It pops out at you when you see someone that good play. I don't know how anyone could let Russ didn't get drafted until the 3rd round by the Seahawks.
Yeah, 3rd round. Height.
Yeah, what is
That's all height.
5'9", 5'10"?
And it's not completely gone. DK Metcalf was a 2nd round pick because he had too much muscle mass to play wide receiver. That was the knock on him. He had too much muscle mass. He was too strong to play wide receiver. That sounds so stupid. Like, say it out loud, it sounds so stupid. He's too strong? Like, he's still fast. He's not even like a slow, strong
He's not.
guy.
No, he's a fast. He's still like a 4.36 guy or something.
That's the thing. It's speed's a strength. It's not even like he's like, oh, he's a strong and slow guy. No, he was just stupid fast and super strong, but they're like, he's too strong. He can't play.
Yeah, they
wide
thought
receiver.
the
What?
muscle would tear up his body, tear up his bones.
Yeah, so stupid. Like, it's like, okay, LeBron's been fine. Like,
fucking LeBron. That's true. He was built like an Adonis in high school,
and his muscles are fine. Like, it's just like how you take care of them. It's not really about just the size. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's still puttering around somewhere. Like,
look at Sylvester Stallone. He's gotten bigger every year since the 70s.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. I don't know. I just think it's stupid when you get these hard, fast rules in your head with drafting based on a physical acumen.
Prototype.
Oh, you'll hear things like his hands are too small or something. And it's like, that's your knock on the guy? Like, everything else is perfect, but he has small hands. Can't have him. Like, that kind of stuff just sounds so stupid to me.
I'm trying to think. Oh, you can't see over the lineman. What?
Are you standing?
How often are they standing in the perfect line?
What year is it also? You're under center taking the snap and then not dropping back at all? Just standing right behind them?
Yeah. So I'm surprised the stigma
and all of your receivers are going to run in front of the offensive line and then run straight. So they're completely invisible to you.
It's 4 seams directly from the tackle box.
They're not going to be 30 yards downfield, different spray. So dumb.
It is crazy how long that stigma lasted, considering how many years did Drew Brees lead the NFL in passing yards? Like,
he was just seen as the exception for a long time. They were like, he's the exception, not the rule. And then Russell Wilson was when they went, wait a minute, another guy did it. Maybe you can just do this. It's like, yeah, you don't have to be 6'8". You don't have to be like seeing over your offensive line. That's just a weird thing that you're going with.
Yeah, look, Brock Osweiler had a job for years because he was the prototype
quarterback.
6'7".
He's the guy you build in the lab. You know who's not a stereotypical quarterback? Tom Brady. He's won a lot of Super Bowls. That dude is the least athletic quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
He still has the slowest 40 time in the history of the combine. And the worst vertical. And the most rings. So, those things like...
Still nailing it.
Yeah. Quarterback is so much mental over the physical. So if you have a guy who you interview and he has it, and he has the tools, don't let his big toe sits on top of his ring toe. Like, get out of here. Just draft the guy.
I do know I will never have Tom Brady's confidence. Like you said the story last week when he walked up to Robert Kraft Probably the best draft decision you ever made. Or the best player you've ever drafted.
Well, in the last, 3 times in the Super Bowl, they said, what's your favorite ring? And every single time he goes, the next one.
My favorite clip of him is still when they asked who his hero was. And he pauses, and he breaks down a little bit, and my dad's my hero. That one gets me every time.
My favorite clip is when he got off the boat in Tampa.
I'm telling you, Tampa Tom is the Tom that I love.
Couldn't stand.
That's my Tom rating. All right, so we made it 2 hours. Well, I think we're gonna watch some football, and we made our picks again.
We got another board bet up there.
Yeah, we got another board bet. Ooh. Trey Lance doesn't start until week 9. It's a wash. Under week 9 goes to Zach. Over week 9 goes to me. Yards between Daenerys, wasn't it? Deontay Johnson and A-Rob. Whoever leads in that one. So we're gonna need another bet by the end of the season because you can't have 2 bets because then it's.
Oh no!
We'll find
we
more.
might be able to get one a week. We'll see. It's just when we get little disagreements about things.
So week 2, I've got Chicago, Washington, New England, Denver, Buffalo, Philly, the Rams, Raiders, Cleveland, New Orleans, Bucks, Arizona, Chargers, Seattle, Kansas City, and Green Bay. Zach, Chicago, Washington, New England, Denver, Buffalo. He chose the 49ers, the Rams, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, the Panthers, Bucks, Arizona, Chargers, Titans, Chiefs, Packers. Again, R.I.P. Norm Macdonald. You don't see too often that celebrities try to keep their diagnoses quiet and everything like that. The silent battle is an impressive one. He's got some SNL gold. It's been the On-Call Pod. It's really probably going to end up having to change the name of this because it's like Mike versus Zach. It's like the MVZ. That's what I put on YouTube. We'll find something if we're going to. Clearly not nursing. Clearly not on call. We'll come up with something because if we're going to do it, football's only like 5 months a year. So we'll have to carry it on some way. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Come with the name. But it's been the On-Call Pod. Say good night, buddy.
All right. Good night, guys.
Thanks for listening to the On-Call Podcast.
Screamed and
Check
bellowed
us
on
out on
national
Twitter
TV last night by some people I really
@OnCallPod. Interested in being a sponsor or want to be on the show? Drop us an email at oncallpod@gmail.com. For more info, go to oncallpod.com.